So welcome to Handmade Chelsea Online, another live exhibitor session. My name's Alice and I'm part of the Handmade in Britain team. And today we are joined by Cari-Jane Hakes, who is a jeweller. So our title today is a Murmuring Flock Jewellery Showcase and Studio Tour. So we now join Cari-Jane directly in her studio. So Cari-Jane, I'm going to pass over directly to you. Welcome to Handmade Chelsea Online.
That's great, thanks very much, Alice. So welcome to my studio here in East Yorkshire. I'm going to give you a quick little studio tour, because that's the beauty of this online format, that you don't just see the finished product, you actually get to see where it's made. So that's hopefully that's going to be interesting for you. Then I'm going to go through a little bit of the design process that was behind the Murmuring Flock collection that is exclusively online with Handmade Chelsea. And then I'm going to show you some of the bits that I have in my shop. So, right, hold on to your hats. Here we go. I'm going to move you around a little bit. So over here, first of all, is my old workbench, which looks a little bit sad now. Wait till you see my new one. So this has got one of my favourite tools. It's got the rolling mill on it. And I've done there's a little demo of that on a video that I've got on my profile page. I've got a pillar drill here, and then if I take you around this way, over in the distance over here, this is a lot of this is a soldering and sanding and polishing, so it's quite dirty, quite dangerous over here as well with the soldering. And then also in the corner, I'll just turn around, is my hydraulic press. I call it Big Jaffa. It was made by my brother, Craig. It's very useful. I'm very proud of that. And it's really good that you're just joining me and you're all sitting comfortably, because normally I have to warn people about the height in this studio because it's in a basement. And I think the person that used to work in this space before was a woodworker, because I've inherited their work, one of their workbenches there that my Bonnie Doon press is on. And then they also, you won't be able to see it very well because the light is bleaching out, but they had all of these little jam jars with all of their nuts and bolts and screws and things. And I now use them for putting little treasures in that I find when I'm walking. So it's quite a useful kind of visual memory board of things that I'm inspired by. And also prototypes that I've made, so I can actually see them all there. Right, now I'm going to just take you through the design process, and I actually found it quite difficult to put this bit together because designing isn't this neat linear process of come up with a concept, develop it, make the thing. It can often be a lot of different threads that get kind of pulled together. So I'll just go through some of the threads behind this collection here. So first of all, I'm a bit of a pebble collector, and when I'm on holiday, I often kind of draw on these pebbles and sort of look at how a pattern can translate around a three-dimensional object. So here's some other ones. There's a little hole in here. So how does that pattern kind of work its way around? And then also I'll then be working in my sketchbook and looking at how that pattern again moves around and these voids, and how that looks as an idea. So those are a few of the little strands. And then at the same time I bought this print. It's just in the background here. And it had this beautiful etched print of a sky and clouds. So then I started doing my own kind of little versions of it here and thinking about how it could be translated into a piece of jewellery. And then also I had a go at looking at it on a pebble and how it would move around and translate. So all of that kind of, those are a couple of the strands that I was pulling together. And then at the same time, when I was out walking our family dog, Jack, who was also my apprentice, he's sleeping on the job though, he's not a very good apprentice, I have to say. I would see these birds, the starlings, mermating, where they get together. It's mostly at dusk, and they get together in these amazing flocks. If you've never seen it, just Google it. It's not the same as seeing it in for real, but it's just the most amazing thing. And when I saw that, those starlings, it also reminded me of these drawings that I was doing, in the way that they create these kind of vortexes and three-dimensional forms in the sky. And when I see things like that, that's where I kind of think, how can I make that into a piece of wearable art or a piece of jewellery? And I'll often start with a brooch. So before I do that, I'll often translate the idea into a model. So these are some of the little models. And just to say that the form of these is also, going back to one of my strands, often based on these pebbles. Now these ones I call the little palm pebbles. So these are the ones that are just perfect, that you find on the beach, that just fit in your hand and that you can kind of carry along or put in a pocket. And then I'll use these as formers in my work. So I'll imagine that this is a piece of metal, and I'll use the pebble to create the wall of pieces. And that's what I did with this one. So this one is a pebble wall that I've then put. Just checking out the design in paper before I start cutting into metal is always a kind of useful thing to do. So then I started, I'm going to move you a bit closer so that you can, right, you're going to have to hold on to your hats again, because I'm going to tip you down a little bit there. There, that's good. So I started making these brooches in lockdown. Now these are all with their respective little pebble former. It should be that way around. And the thing was, I was quite pleased with these. So this is why sometimes the design process doesn't go quite as you think it's going to go. So I was really pleased with how these turned out. But when I showed them to people, I was saying, oh, this is to do with starlings, and these are feathers on the wing, and it's abstracted, and it's to do with movement. They were just like, well, it looks like a bunch of leaves. I was like, well, that's not really what I was after. So I had to kind of read a few more, but then I took those, what everybody thought was leaves. I'm going to put you back up again. There we go. And I cut their feathers, they weren't leaves, but cut them in half and then bent them. So I started to go more, rather than abstracting it more, I made it more literal. And then I made this piece. And you can see this has actually got the little flock on it. And I varied the height of them because I like to make things really complicated for myself. And then that was the kind of aha moment. I was like, right, that works now. I'm pleased with that. It looks like a little flock of birds. And yeah, it just had that right density and quality. And then from that moment on, I was able to start on the collection. So I'll just put you out here a little bit. So you can see this is the whole collection here. I'm going to bring you in closer, and then I'm going to talk about some of the pieces. I'll just give you an overview. I'll try and do it really slowly because I know the lag is sometimes not good. So here is the one of the finished brooches. So this one has mirrored perspex, which is amazing. It's really lovely, and it has that engraved cloud pattern in it. And there's also earrings with the gold mirrored perspex, some smaller earrings, some super big statement earrings, and then a little bit more over here. Big necklace, I'll put that one on in a minute, and then some smaller little individual studs. And then when I'm making pieces for a collection, I often will start with a brooch, and I think that is kind of basically a bit of a hang up from my architectural training. It's almost like creating a little room into which you put the idea. But then I'll also want to kind of figure out how does that translate down into smaller pieces. So these, for example, are some of the pendants. This is the medium-sized one and the smaller one. So they're using the gold mirrored perspex and then the blue. And in all of these, I've put the flocks on different sides. So I'll just experiment with how they look rather than making the same thing over and over again. Everyone is different because the the birds are all different sizes, and the exact placement is always different depending on which bit of mirrored perspex I'm working with. So that's all of those pieces. I'll just show you this larger piece up close. If I hold it there, you can really see how blingy it is. And the great thing about the mirrored perspex is they were offcuts, so it was kind of, would have been destined for landfill. And it's very light, so it's not like stone. Right in there, that's what that piece looks like on. So just really quite light, but yeah, it packs a bit of a punch. But then if you're not into big statement pieces like that, then of course there are the smaller ones. So here is one of the little small tiny murmuring flocks. That's the 19mm diameter one. And I'll just show you these earrings a little bit closer up. So these were probably the most time-consuming pair of earrings I've ever made. Just getting this cloudy edge on the edge of these earrings. The back is this amazing silver. You can't, I think it's hard to do it on video, but I've got really good pictures in my shop if you want to take a closer look. But these are the only pairs. I can't obviously model them, but they are really, they're quite big, but really light, which is the great thing about using the perspex. So you get this as if it's this kind of slab of mirrored amazing stone, but it's really light. So that's good. I thought I'd finish off with showing this. This is a bit of a curious piece, and it's really hard to represent with static images. So this is again, this is this cloud motif that I've been using in a lot of my work, and this is a 3-in-1 piece. So effectively, you can wear it. It's a brooch, so I've got a double pin. I'm not going to pin it on just now because I need to kind of show you how it works. So you can wear it as a brooch and the chain together like this. Or if you're not in a kind of broochy kind of mood, you just you take the brooch off. That's the brooch. And I've made this little extra piece, which then slots in here. So then you can just wear it as a chain. And this is a handmade chain. The jewelers, it's a kind of quite a thing that we do every now and again. We think, right, we'll make a handmade chain. It takes forever, like a week, but they are quite a kind of satisfying thing where it's all completely bespoke. And then you can wear the brooch over here, or if you're in a just a brooch kind of mood, then you just wear the brooch. So it's three in one. But the thing to notice about this is basically I tried to again complicate things for myself by making this brooch is full of rain up in the top, little glass beads that gradually come out and fill the bottom portion as you move around. And then at the end of the day, you shake them back in, and then it's ready for the next time you wear it. So yeah, that's, as I said, that's quite a difficult piece to show online, which is why I thought I'd end with that. So if there's any questions, I can answer questions now or go through any more of these pieces. I shall move you back a little bit so you can see the whole collection there.
That's great. I mean, one of the questions that we've got, so we know that you're using a lot of perspex, but what are the other materials that are actually going into the pieces? What are you setting effectively?
Okay, that is a very good point. Thank you for that, because I should have said that. Yeah, basically everything else is silver. So for example, in here, the little flock of starlings, it's oxidized silver. So that's the when silver tarnishes, it creates silver oxide with the air. So this process just kind of speeds that up. So it's almost sort of tarnished silver, but then it's polished, so it gives it this amazing kind of lovely, almost like a kind of hematite quality. And then on the back here, so all of the back plate is silver, that's been given this texture. This is, on this one actually, is 9-carat gold pin wire, but the mechanism is all silver. All the little rivets that hold the birds in place are silver, and the wall, the side wall, is silver as well. So it's all silver plus this mirrored perspex on all of the pieces.
I think you have a really interesting design process, because certainly for me, I haven't spoken to someone, for a while, who really uses a natural 3D form, in the hand to actually be an inspiration for another 3D form. How important, is that process for you? We saw at the start, but does it work? Have you used that in other collections, or is it just something that you started with for this collection?
So yeah, those pebbles, I mean, for example, this one, I use them a lot as the formers. There's quite a lot of pieces that I've got from previous years. So this one, again, that shape is formed by using a pebble, because I just think there's something, because you could just draw that shape, but for me, I kind of like the immediacy of having found this pebble. The fact that it's sort of ergonomically fits the body, it fits the hand. So there's something quite important about that as a scale. And then I just think it's amazing that shape has evolved over thousands and thousands of years, and it's become that shape, and that's the shape that I want to replicate. So there's something about geology or the crystals or something that makes it eventually end up like that, and that's what I'm just fascinated by that, and that's why I use those shapes rather than an arbitrary sketched shape.
It's kind of like encapsulating movement, because what you've got in your hands is something that has been effectively beaten up through natural processes of movement. It's been moved from one side, sediments hit it and broken it and smoothed it. And then when you're talking about the birds, the movement of the flock of birds. So it's kind of like encapsulating movement. That's what I really see when I see this collection here. I don't know if anyone else kind of sees that relationship as well, but then you capture it, I feel, really well in a solid form as well. So I think that's really interesting to see kind of natural, kind of influence something that you then make, with your hands. So I really, really enjoyed the collection. Can we just have one more look, at again, just, the collection that you've got online? And I should say, all these pieces are with us on Handmade Chelsea online as well. So I've got Cari-Jane's link, in the chat bar. So do have a look. But Cari, it'd be great to just have another look, once more, at the collection before we finish.
Okay, so I'll bring you in a little bit closer. So these, let's see, where are we pointing? So here are the studs. These are in the oxidized silver and plain silver, but also rose gold and yellow gold. A little bit closer on the medium-sized pendants with the gold backed perspex. There's also a couple of, these are not from the Mermation collection, but I put them in anyway. These are these little barnacle rings. They're quite hard to see but there's some nice pictures of them online. They're set with a citrine and a topaz. So it's just the perfect color to go with this collection, because with the citrine, like the gold perspex, and the London blue topaz was went very well with the blue mirrored perspex. So there's the big statement necklace. And I didn't show you these close up. I love these. So these are a bit like the statement big cloud earrings, but I did them in gold and just a little bit smaller. They've got a little bit of swing to them, a little bit of dynamicness, and they have the engraved cloud. Can't see that, so a pattern on the back. And then maybe just lastly, these, again, little neat, smaller earrings with the blue perspex. Yeah, I'll put you back over there. So that's it.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for your time this afternoon, Cari-Jane. It's been great to, be allowed and have a sneak peek, both inside your studio, but actually learning a lot more about how you come to your ideas and how you, turn them into final pieces. So thank you very much for your time this afternoon, and thank you everyone who has attended as well. I can see we've had some good questions through our chat and through our question and answer, so thank you for asking those. And once again, Cari-Jane, thank you so much. And remember, you can keep chatting to Cari-Jane over on live chat. So if you go to our website, interact.handmadeinbritain.co.uk, don't worry if Cari-Jane's not live immediately, you can leave a question in there, and next time she pops in, she can answer that. But do go to her profile, and I've popped that in there. So once again, Cari-Jane, thank you so much. And from me and the team, we wish you every success over the next couple of days. So thank you once again. Bye now.
Bye.
Bye.